Well, hello everyone. Happy Sunday to you. I hope you are all doing well this morning. Everything's good here. Mom's stable, so that's nice. I wanted to start this video today just to remind you if there was anything on week 3 that you didn't catch up with during the Blackboard shutdown, if you weren't able to submit the assignment or if there was a DB that you weren't able to address and you haven't been able to get back to it, then go ahead and get that done and submit it today because I am grading and we'll be done grading by the time I post this video. But of course, I will be happy to update based on the situation with what happened. So I want to start today because I haven't had a chance to do this. And I really like to talk a little bit about the discussion board. I could write notes on the discussion board to individual people, but I kind of like to bring up what we're talking about in class. And so I want to start with Alicia. You had talked about how the 3D printing, that was really new to you. And it reminded me of the first time that I ever saw 3D printing. And I know the people that watch this are going to giggle, but it was on Grey's Anatomy. And I had never been a big Grey's Anatomy, like I didn't watch the show or anything. And my daughters, my 20-something daughter, my 30-something daughter, was something that they both loved. So I thought, well, shoot, I should watch it. And then it'll be another thing that we can talk about or text about or whatever. And that was the first time that I saw 3D printing, and it made me very interested in learning more about it and how it was being used in different fields. And of course, now, we have 3D printers at school. The kids bring in things that they've made on the 3D printer, and it's, quite impressive. And Joshua, that brings me to you because you had talked about blockchains and how you hadn't imagined, 3 years ago that your kids would be building websites in class, and now they are, and you don't see them using blockchains anytime soon. But, you're smart enough to know that winter is coming, basically, with technology. My Game of Thrones people, you get that. So we just don't know. And I think that's one of the interesting things about technology, but also one of the kind of scary things as an educator because we don't really know what jobs we're training them for at this point in time, because technology and workforce and education is going to change so much in the next 3 to 5 to 10 years that it's going to be interesting to see what we're up to. And I think it was Matthew, I could be wrong, that was talking about you know virtual reality and connection and the human connection. And I just wanted to remind you guys that, you're right. Sometimes there is a very non-humanistic, thing to technology. But remember also, and I think we've talked about this before, and if not, you'll talk about it in one of the other ed tech classes, technology can also be used to bring in humanity and connection. And there were a couple things that I was thinking of when I read that. One, for those of you that have children now, you may find that technology at times brings you together. And for me, my children, my 3 children, my daughter's 33, my son is 28, my youngest is 22. And so, of course, they're all off living their lives. But whenever we can't see eye to eye on things, we can always see meme to meme. And for my people out there that love memes, sometimes when I'm in an argumentative situation with my adult children, or I'm not 100% agreeing with them, or they're not 100% agreeing with me, and we're kind of taking some space from each other so that we don't have a confrontation and we can come back and we can look at the situation with new eyes. Sometimes, we'll share a meme with each other and it kind of, it acts as a mediator, it acts as an ambassador of goodwill to kind of bring the mood down and bring us back together. And that's one of the things that I really love about social media is that humanness of it and that humanness of technology. And it's the same with Facebook and Instagram. I mean, as a teacher now, after, teaching for almost 30 years, it's really neat to be connected to like the students that I taught my first year that are now with children and living these fabulous lives that I get to watch, or may need help still and need a mentor or somebody to talk to and feel that they've kind of strayed off their path. So there is a way that technology does bring that humanness in. And then remember also for the classroom, I mean, I've done home hospital for many years and worked with children that are very, very ill. And remember, technology could bring you know, a teacher to them or a classroom to them and kind of bring that humanity into it. So I've said before, you know, technology really is a double-edged sword with this type of connection. Tara, you were talking about, and I loved this because I see this a lot with the teachers that come into the master's program. You were talking about how the master's program has created more empathy in you in regards to your students and what they're going through. And I really appreciated you saying that. I have had to bring that to several teachers' attentions under my watch in the Concordia program where they'll be like, my dog ate my homework type of thing. And, you know, very nicely, I'll say, you know, I'm happy to accommodate you and make this work. You know, if you are willing to remember this with your own students, we know who's being flaky. We know who's working us. And we know when we need to step in and cut some people some slack. And sometimes you'll think, you know, a student is being flaky or whatever, and then you'll find out something bigger is going on. Um, Parents are dying. Parents are addicted. They're living in a foster home. They're currently homeless. A lot of times kids are really good at hiding those things. Sometimes they don't have the technology that they want you to, that you want them to use. So they're not able to do the work at home. And then teachers will say, well, you could do it at lunchtime or you could do it after school. Well, after school, they might be caring for siblings. And have to go home, and lunchtime might be the only time that they get something to eat. And so these are all things that we have to think about. And I'm not saying that we have to coddle constantly. There was a really great article in the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if you guys saw it this week about the overprotected American child. And if you haven't got it, you know what, I should put it up. I'll put it up on the site for you to look at. But, you know, it's interesting, you know, we have this way of overprotecting, but then at the same time, we have this way of being really hard sometimes on students that need a break, need a little bit of a break. So, you know, you kind of have to test the waters on that and know your people and know your students. But I really appreciate you saying that, because one of the things that we are constantly teaching as educators is emotional intelligence and empathy, and that's not always easy to teach. So experiences like this humble us and help us to get to, you know, a place where we do look at things differently with new eyes, and that's what you want the master's program to be. You know, of course, people are doing it to move up on the pay ladder and for whatever reasons they're doing it, for higher education, but it's, you know, to open your eyes and to start thinking again, you know, because we often get into our little, you know, average day routine and kind of just drone on. So the master's program really challenges you to start, you know, being creative in your thinking. Kim Renee, you talked about a parent workshop at your school for digital divide. What a great idea. Every district should do that. I have parents that do not know how to contact me on School Loop, that don't know how to set up a School Loop. One of the things that I make my 11th graders do, if they're in 11th grade and they've been at my school in 9th grade and I still don't see a parent attached to School Loop, I'm like, I'm not grading your first assignment until your parents attached to School Loop. And if they need help, you know, let me know, but I have to be able to connect with them. So I think that is a fabulous idea. I mean, gosh, to have an ongoing workshop would be wonderful. Imagine if their students were there with the parents, teaching the parents, helping them. I mean, how powerful would that be for that student to be able to offer something like that to their parent? And how proud would a parent be to see their student able to do things like that and to help them, you know, navigate this digital divide? So well done. Great idea. Adrian, what have I written? I can't read my little note. Oh, the screencast to the Back to the School. Yeah, tying on to Kim Renee's. I love that. That's a brilliant idea. And I'd like to, you know, you won't be in my class at that time of year, but I would really like both of you guys to, you know, get back to me and let me know if those things work out. And Janine, shout out, congratulations on the wedding. And for those of you that don't know, we have a student that just got married during our class, and I hope you're catching up on everything. Oh, Matt, you had talked about the program to explore the ancient pyramids. All I can say about that is I wish I was in your class. That sounds great. So if I missed you this time, I will catch you next time. But I just wanted to shout out and have a little discussion about that. And I'm sure you guys are watching my dog and my cat having a free for all in the background. I'm sorry I can't control them, but I just I just can't. They are best friends and they love each other and they play all of the time. The last thing that I want to say is, you know what you're supposed to be doing this week, but I'm really interested in seeing what you think about the article Is Google Making Us Stupid? And I'm interested to know how you're noticing your brain change on technology. And one of the lines that I thought was interesting in the article, and give me a second because I pulled it up, is where he says, Friedman elaborated on his thinking. He said, has taken on a staccato quality. And I'm sure you all know what that means, but in music, you know, it's bop, 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 bop quality, reflecting the way he quickly scans short passages of text from many sources online. I can't read War and Peace anymore, he admitted. I've lost the ability to do that. Even a blog post of more than 3 or 4 paragraphs is too much to absorb. I skim it. I thought that was really profound for me. I have noticed my reading changing the more that I'm using EdTech, and that it's even difficult for me not to skim a magazine. And as a writer, you know, that's that's pretty stressful. Oh, you know what? I apologize. I have to pause there for a minute. Janine was not the one that got married. Ashley was the one that had the wedding. Janine, I wrote shout out on that. Janine, thank you for the shout out about me being a writer in my life. Yes, I've done a lot of things with my life. Sometimes I feel like I've had several different lives. So I digress, but I had to correct that. Ashley was our wedding girl. Congratulations. And Janine, thank you for the shout out. I'm not going to erase the whole video. See, you just make a mistake, you just keep going. But back to what I was saying about the staccato thinking. I was starting to worry. I mean, Alzheimer's runs in my family, and I was starting to worry. Oh my God, am I starting to go into this? And then when you know, I read that Google article and read other articles about it, you know, it's interesting to me that our brains have gone on this kind of staccato mode. So, which is happening to our students as well. And so we have to really work to slow that down. And with me, what I see is like with books, like he's talking about War and Peace. I was trying to read a book a while back, and I had to really I ended up going to Big Bear, to our cabin up there, and everything was turned off there and there was no distractions. It took me about a day to settle back down into reading the chapters and not skimming so much. And then I fell back into the story and I loved relaxing into it, but it definitely felt like a guilty pleasure taking that much time, you know, when we can skim and get to things so quickly on the internet. And I think it's interesting, our students have no idea. You know, many of us were using card catalogs and those types of things. The internet is such a godsend for people that are doing research and writing and studying or music or whatever. But the other thing is we're still having problems with kids not knowing how to navigate the internet and to find reputable, you know, sources. And we were taught that so much, you know, during the card catalog days. And I'm not sure it's hit as much anymore unless somebody is going to regular lessons, you know, at their school with the librarian. But they oftentimes don't know how to search. They oftentimes, when they come up with a search, they think they failed or they can't find more. They don't know how they could change or tweak or manipulate what they're asking for or put in other keywords that might bring them to where they need to go. And they kind of need to learn how to, you know, navigate the web just as if they were navigating, you know, a game where they were looking for Easter eggs or things like that. And for my gamers, you know what I'm talking about. For my non-gamers, you can look that up. But so I think you guys will find that article really interesting. I'm going to stop there because I'm almost at 15 minutes. I'm sure you've had enough of me for the morning and that you've had your coffee and you're ready to move on. So good luck with everything this week. Catch up with anything that you need to, and I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.